Hi, it's Katrina! From lizards who literally jump out of their skin to avoid predators, to bizarre deep-sea creatures that fall apart at the surface, here are 12 unique animals you won't believe exist. Number 12. Fishscaled Gecko. This is actually a relatively new species for us. It was only discovered in 2017. Found in northern Madagascar's limestone cliffs and caverns, Geckolepis megalepis is the first addition to the fish-scaled gecko genus in 75 years. Members of the Geckolepis genus, which is endemic to Madagascar and the Comoros archipelago, literally jump out of their skin when a predator provokes or attacks. This newly discovered species has the largest scales of all known geckos and loses its scales more easily and completely than others, leaving it looking like a raw chicken tender. Pretty unappetizing. The moment a predator tries grasping onto Geckolepis megalepis, it sloughs its scales off, enabling it to escape alive. In fact, the species sheds its scales with such ease, researchers struggled to capture them for the study describing it. Mark Schertz, the study's lead author, said getting one was more like CSI than Indiana Jones. That's a great way to describe their experience, right? Totally get it. Then the creature finds a safe, humid place to regenerate its scales, which takes several weeks. The recovery process is scar-free, leading Schertz and his colleagues to believe experts may be able to learn a thing or two from it and apply it to the human skin regeneration process. Scientists are already studying lizards and salamander limbs to unlock the regeneration process in humans for other things too, like organs and maybe even an entire limb one day. While researchers once believed that there were only 3 or 4 fish-scaled gecko species, genetic analysis has led them to theorize that the genus has, or at one time had, as many as 12 species. Number 11. Vaquita. Found only in shallow waters in the northern portion of Mexico's Gulf of California, the vaquita is the world's most endangered marine mammal. Reaching just 5 feet max and weighing up to 120 pounds, this porpoise is also the planet's smallest cetacean, which are whales, dolphins, and porpoises. This diminutive swimmer has a dark ring around its eyes, a pale gray body, and a white underside with gray markings. The vaquita was first discovered in 1958. By 2012, scientists estimated that there were less than 200 left. The government of Mexico established the International Committee for the Recovery of the Vaquita, made up of an international team of scientists. They determined that illegal fishing in their refuge was accelerating the loss of the vaquita. The problem is they live in the same area as the highly coveted and also endangered totoaba fish. There is a high demand for its swim bladder in China, and fishermen can make thousands of dollars by smuggling them out. In the process, they end up also killing the vaquita. We are on the very edge of losing them forever. Today, there are just 10 to 15 surviving vaquitas at the most. At this point, capturing some vaquitas and placing them in human care is not considered a realistic way of bringing the species back from the brink of extinction. Instead, experts are focusing on conserving the vaquita through alternative methods, such as developing safer fishing gear and vigorously enforcing protective laws that the Mexican government implemented back in 2004. But sad to say, it's not looking so good. Number 10. Sneezing monkey. Researchers first described the Myanmar snub-nosed monkey in 2010 based on a single dead specimen. The small creature was hunted in Myanmar's northeastern state of Kachin in a remote mountainous forest. Its hunters claim that when the rain hit the monkey's upturned nose, it sneezed, giving it the nickname the sneezing monkey. Scientists subsequently discovered 5 snub-nosed monkey subpopulations in the eastern Himalayas along the Myanmar-China border. They estimated that each population numbered no more than 100, but it's difficult to truly know how many sneezing monkeys there are, due to their preference for living among rugged terrain. A study to establish the species' conservation status determined that hunting, the wildlife trade, and habitat loss due to deforestation and illegal logging threatened these small populations, ultimately classifying the sneezing monkey as critically endangered. Despite the species' future remaining fragile due to its fragmented population, along with these ongoing threats, its situation has improved thanks to the combined conservation efforts of communities, governments, and organizations. As a result of these efforts, as well as a trans-boundary agreement between China and Myanmar, the wildlife trade, illegal logging, and local hunting have decreased throughout the sneezing monkey's habitat. Finally, some good news. Number 9. The sea pig. Sea pigs, or scotoplanes, are a type of sea cucumber hailing from a group of marine invertebrates called echinoderms, which also includes sea urchins and starfish. Named for their translucent pink appearance, they have several pairs of elongated tube feet, including some on their head, which they use for walking along the ocean floor as they look for dead and decaying organic matter to feed on. These legs operate hydraulically, inflating and deflating as needed. At just 4 to 6 inches long, a sea pig specimen would easily fit into the palm of your hand. These homely little steady deep-water dwellers are found in all of the world's oceans and tend to live in the coldest, darkest waters, as far as 3.7 miles below the surface. There are 6 known sea pig species, and in some areas they comprise 95% of the total animal weight on the sea floor. But because of where they live, most people will never see one in person, despite their abundance. Number 8. Babby Rusa. Take one look at the Babby Rusa and you'll understand why some people refer to it as a deer pig. This member of the pig family comprises the Babby Rusa genus and is native to a group of Indonesian islands called Wallacea. Until 2002, all Babby Rusas were considered the same species, but researchers determined that there are 4 Babby Rusa species. Male members of the most widely recognized species, the North Sulawesi Babby Rusa, have a seemingly hairless body and long curved tusks measuring up to 17 inches long. These tusks are overgrown upper canine teeth, which protrude downward from the snout and curve in an upward direction, sometimes even growing back into the animal's skull. Why though? Babby Rusas are different from other members of the swine family in various other ways. For one, their snouts are less specialized. Also, they have 2 chambered stomachs, which more closely resembles the digestive systems of animals like sheep, cattle, giraffes, and other ruminants. Mammals whose complex stomachs enable them to obtain maximum nutrients from plant-based foods. Because of this, scientists believe that Babby Rusas separated from pigs very early on in the family's evolution. Like other pigs though, Babby Rusas are not picky eaters. These omnivores eat smaller mammals, including other Babby Rusas, nuts, berries, mushrooms, bark, leaves, you name it. Number 7. Earless monitor lizard. This reptile from Borneo is known as the holy grail of herpetology. In 2008, a research team set out to explore the dense jungle. Little did they know they would make the discovery of a lifetime. They found an elusive earless monitor lizard, the mysterious lizard that looks almost like a real-life dragon. As their name suggests, they lack ear openings and are kind of small, growing to just about 8 inches long from nose to tail. Although apparently there was one in the Bronx Zoo in the 60s that grew to 20 inches long, but he was morbidly obese. Since it was discovered in 1877, less than 100 have ever been captured. When they went to write their study, the scientists were concerned about how to share their rare find with the world without creating a rush for reptile collectors to go out and put the species in danger. In 2012, they published their paper with a generic map, but suddenly these lizards started popping up in collections and online ads all over the world. Conservationists are starting to learn that some discoveries are better left a carefully guarded secret. Sad, but true. Number 6. Asian giant softshell turtle. This guy is a bizarre-looking turtle endemic to Southeast Asia, appearing in places like Borneo, the Philippines, and Bangladesh. It's distributed so widely, researchers believe there may be more than one species. This strange-looking creature can reach over 3 feet long and often weighs more than 220 pounds. It's a freshwater species that is primarily found in slow-moving inland rivers and streams, but it also dwells in brackish coastal waters. The Asian giant softshell turtle is one of 3 known ancient species of the Phocoena genus, which diverged from other turtles over 40 million years ago, long before the split that separated humans from baboons occurred. But this species' days on Earth may be numbered. Despite its outdated classification as simply endangered on the International Union for Conservation of Nature Red List, it is highly threatened due to habitat loss, as well as being hunted for its meat and accidentally killed. It's believed that the Asian giant softshell turtle disappeared completely from much of its geographic range by the end of the 20th century. Number 5. Western Tarsier. Also called the Horsfield's tarsier, the Western tarsier is the only tarsier species of its genus. It's found in Borneo, Sumatra, and various other nearby islands. This creature was included in the Tarsius genus until experts realized that it is genetically distinct enough to warrant being categorized separately from other members of its family. Even now, though, the creature's taxonomy remains an unsure and murky topic. The Western tarsier is nocturnal and has an extremely large set of eyes, each of which are as big as its brain to facilitate its night vision. Infants are born to monogamous couples with their eyes open and are immediately capable of grooming themselves. Mothers carry infants in their mouths and set them on branches while they forage for food. Known for its extraordinary leaping abilities, it uses its strong legs and its claw-like fingers to travel from one tree to another in search of food for its carnivorous diet, like cockroaches, butterflies, grasshoppers, beetles, birds, you name it. The western tarsier is threatened by the illegal pet trade and habitat loss due to agriculture, deforestation, fire, and logging. In 2007, the Brunei, Malaysia, and Indonesian governments agreed to protect an 85,000 square mile region of tropical forest, known as the Heart of Borneo, offering hope for the animal's future as well as other fragile species. Hopefully, this will be enough to protect them. Number 4. The dugong. Also called the sea cow, the dugong is a large herbivorous marine mammal that lives in warm, shallow coastal waters throughout the Indo-Pacific region and the Red Sea, and is most commonly found in northern Australian waters. It's related to and looks kind of like the manatee. Both species are considered sirenians, and early sightings of these creatures inspired legends about mermaids. Dugongs grow between 8 and 9 feet long and weigh from 507 to 794 pounds. This vegetarian species, which feeds mainly on underwater grasses, can remain underwater for up to 6 minutes at a time before surfacing. How about you? The dugong is mostly solitary or travels in pairs, but large gatherings of up to 100 of them are not unheard of either, so scientists are kind of confused. The dugong is protected by a commercial hunting ban, but the species remains threatened by traditional hunting and other human activities, including the destruction of seagrass beds, boat strikes, and entanglement in fishing gear. Number 3. Mata-mata. The mata-mata turtle is a South American reptile that lives on the soft, muddy bottoms of shallow, slow-moving bodies of water like streams, swamps, and marshes in the northern part of the continent. It also dwells in the brackish waters of the lower Amazon basin, but is not well adapted to swimming in open water despite being an aquatic species. This turtle reaches up to 1.5 feet long and weighs as much as 38 pounds, or about the size of a 4-year-old child. It has a long wart-covered neck, a rough knobby shell, and bumpy skin. But the most recognizable of the mata-mata's physical characteristics is its long, tubular snout, which is positioned on a flattened triangular head and accompanied by the animal's wide mouth. The mata-mata uses its nose like a snorkel, enabling the turtle to swim with minimal movement, sticking only its nose out of the water when it needs air. It has extremely poor eyesight, but makes up for it with other sensory features, including flaps on the side of its head which contain nerves and help it remain camouflaged. This nocturnal carnivorous bottom feeder vacuums up small fish and invertebrates into its mouth. It hunts by sitting in the muddy water, motionless and camouflaged, waiting for the opportunity to ambush its prey. Number 2. Lowland streaked tenrec. The lowland streaked tenrec is one of the many unique species endemic to Madagascar, as you've guessed by now, dwelling mostly in scrubland and lowland and mid-altitude rainforests on the eastern side of the island. This extremely small mammal grows between 4.7 and 6.5 inches long and weighs just 7 ounces. It resembles a cross between a shrew and a hedgehog, with a long pointed black snout and a striped spine-covered coat. It's vermivorous, meaning it eats worms. The lowland streaked tenrec feeds mostly on earthworms, but will eat other insects if it wants to. As the only sociable tenrec species, it gathers in family units of up to 20 members and hunts either alone or in small groups, and is diurnal, meaning it's active both during the day and at night. During unusually cold periods, the lowland streaked tenrec goes into hibernation, but under normal circumstances, it spends the winter months by remaining active while reducing its body temperature to match the air around it, conserving heat in the process. Number 1. Ribbon worm. Known more commonly as ribbon worms or proboscis worms, Nemertea is the name for a phylum of invertebrate worms with body types ranging from slim to short and wide. They mostly live in tropical regions underwater, but are also sometimes found in damp, cool areas on land. Usually no more than a few millimeters wide, ribbon worms come in a variety of patterns and colors, including orange, red, yellow, and green. These creepy crawlers have a tongue-like feeding tube called a proboscis, which typically resembles a pink ribbon. The creature ejects its proboscis while hunting, and it secretes a mucus-like substance that paralyzes its target. One viral video of a severely stressed ribbon worm led to the misconception that Nemertea can self-multiply by splitting their bodies up into separate pieces, each becoming its own being. This is simply not the case. The ribbon worm in the video had been removed from its marine environment, where it relies on water pressure to remain intact and healthy. Being in the open air caused it to fragment or basically fall apart. When underwater ribbonworms are taken from their habitat, they tend to survive for no more than 10 minutes. And for this specimen that's suffering, it's probably a long 10 minutes. Thanks for watching! Hope you learned something new today. Which animal was your favorite? Which one did you think was the weirdest? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. See you later! Bye!